Hello and welcome to another Arcade Attack podcast. And today we are going to go back in time and appreciate the B-movie-esque film genre.
Ooh.
Yay.
So, today, like usual, same as usual guys.
Same as ever.
we got good old Dylan in the house.
Hello people.
And good old Keith.
Hello.
So, the B-movie. When I say the word B-movie, what comes into your mind?
Think of that bees, the thing with the bees in it, the kids film.
Yeah, that is actually called
The
the
B-movie.
B-movie. Yeah.
B-movie.
I've seen that. It's actually quite funny.
Is it? Oh no. I've not been inclined of late.
Keith?
Just low budget, campy, trashy, but usually
I knew that really.
awesome films.
I knew that
Yeah.
really. I was just playing on the wordplay there.
We knew that, man. Everyone, we knew that.
We know.
We knew.
You're smart. We know
We knew
you're
you
smart.
knew that.
SMRT.
You're so smart.
I think it's fair to say that B movies are, like you said, low budget. There are some crackers. There's some top movies out there.
Yeah.
There's also a few stinkers. You know, let's be honest.
Plenty, yeah.
But I think they have a little place in all of our hearts. You know, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, you can't knock the creativity.
Some of my favourite films are B movies.
Terminator.
Low budget,
They
sci-fi,
Yep.
probably classed as.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff.
They live. I'd say. We spoke about.
Yeah,
They
probably
live,
quite
see?
a few of John Carpenter's films. Yeah.
Pretty much John Carpenter.
Yeah. Evil Dead, one of my all-time favourite films.
Yeah.
B movie.
And I think even going a bit before that, things like The Blob isn't there. And
Oh, The Blob.
Oh yeah, like
Classic.
the 50s sci-fi type stuff.
Now, sorry.
Oh, we love a bit of 50s sci-fi.
We
don't
do, yeah.
We do, and actually, I was wondering, have you ever heard of a B movie called Them?
No. Oh, maybe.
I think I've heard of it.
Well, I haven't seen it.
I haven't either, truthfully. I'll put my hands up. However, Them was a B movie that helped inspire a video game I'd like to talk about today.
Ooh.
Now,
What is that video game?
this game was, I think, it's rightly an Amiga cult classic. A lot of people have it up there as a top 10 Amiga game of all time. I would probably agree. It is up there for me as a kid. And the game is called It Came From the Desert.
That's a good title.
Oh no.
That is
It's
a B-movie title.
My own no was more like, what the hell has come from the
Oh,
desert? Because generally, good things don't tend to come from the desert.
No.
Hot kind of
Yeah.
hot things tend to come from the
That's
desert.
true.
What do you think? Well, we can come to that later. Any ideas, do you reckon? What's the thing that came from the desert? What would scare you most?
Some kind of radioactive bat.
I like the radioactive thing. That might be part of
Or maybe some kind of mirage that looked like a nice oasis, but then it turned out to be like fire and brimstone, something like that. That would be pretty nasty.
That would be quite scary.
Yeah.
There's a billion things that could come from it. Scorpions.
Yeah,
Oh
Closer.
man, scorpions. Camels, like a mutated camel.
With 3 humps.
a three-humped camel would scare the bejesus out of
Cactuses
me.
that came to life and started walking.
Like in Final Fantasy, you get all
Yeah.
those massive cactuses.
That'd be quite scary.
Yeah, and they
How do
shoot
you fight-
needles at you.
How do you fight a cactus?
You can't. It's a,
Yeah.
it's a cactus.
Yeah.
It's meant for deserts.
That's right.
Everything that's meant for deserts, we're not meant to come up
Yeah,
against.
stay there.
Yeah.
You guys are close. You're close, but not quite there yet. And I'll reveal the monster a bit later. So it was released. So it came from the desert. It was released in 1989, and I'd call it an action adventure game. It's a traditional kind of adventure game. There's elements where you got to go around the town and talk to people, and it's a bit of a murder mystery game as well. You have to solve different missions, but there's definitely action involved as well. And we'll reveal that soon. Now, Cinemaware, the guys that made this game, have you heard about this company
Oh yeah,
before?
Cinemaware, great company.
They don't make a lot of games.
No.
Truthfully, they're not known for their quantity of games, but their quality is up there. I would say, alongside It Came From the Desert, their probably biggest game was Wings, a very good flight simulator on the Amiga.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, this game was originally released on the Amiga, 3 discs, and it later ported to the MS-DOS, like almost a sort of a carbon copy version. The graphics weren't quite as good. Now, this game, It Came From the Desert, also came out on a couple of consoles as well.
Oh.
The first one that was properly released was the TurboGrafx 16.
Wow.
a CD version.
The good old TurboGrafx.
TurboGrafx.
Which I think that's Kanye West's next album, isn't it? Apparently.
Well, graphics.
He did say that. Yeah, he tweeted it.
He did tweet that. Now the game on the TurboGrafx 16 was different to the actual original Amiga game. It was different characters, slightly different plot, mixed reviews. Okay, I'm not going to say it's a bad game. I haven't actually had a good chance to look at it, but it's certainly different and it's mixed.
Did it come out at the same time?
I think it came out maybe a year or so later.
Okay.
Now there was also a version that was being made for the good old Mega Drive.
I've heard about this.
The Mega Drive version.
Was it anything like the Amiga version?
No, different.
Same plot or anything?
It is to do with the same plot. It's to do with helping your little town solve a mystery and try and save the day. But it was a different sort of game, a top-down view. You had to go around. Now the game is sort of available to play on different ports. It's been released, but it never actually got an official release. Apparently, it was like 99% complete, and it was pulled at the last minute. That's a bit sad,
How
isn't
annoying
it?
is that as a developer?
Right.
Seriously,
And was the Mega Drive version made by Cinemaware as well?
It was made by Cinemaware. It was never fully released. However, there's some good news. Watermelon Games, the people that made PS Solar.
Oh yeah, the PS Solar games.
And I think they're looking to release Paprian, so an upcoming, which
Paprian.
we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
Now they've apparently got involved with Cinemaware, and they're looking to release it on the Mega Drive.
Do it
soon.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Do it. I'm looking forward to it.
Go on, Watermelon Games.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at them coming through.
Now, like I said, guys, let's get down and dirty now. Let's get back to the Amiga version where it belongs. It brings back many good memories for me. It was probably one of the first games I played on the Amiga, and I was hooked from day one. I tell you, it was hugely inspired by Hollywood, hugely inspired by the 1950s B movies. Like I said, guys, it really did kind of follow on from the classic film Them. And actually, little trivia thing here: the professor in the film Them is basically a carbon copy of the professor in the game.
Okay.
They look very similar. I think there's more than a likeness. I'm going to read the back of the cover. Are you ready for this?
Do it.
To set the scene. A crawling terror whose towering fury no one can escape. A new dimension in terror that will have you screaming for mercy. Ants, 20 feet tall, go marching one by one, using your hometown as a human picnic basket. Panic grips the city as these monster-sized mutations strike terror again and again and again. Witness science fiction becomes fact as the unimaginable becomes real, the impossible becomes true. You'll marvel as the scream explodes with action so real you can feel the desert wind chap your parched lips. Sound effects so eerie you can hear the distant marching of giant harvester ants on the prowl. Human drama abounds, blackmailing rivals, land scams, love triangles and desert cults. What do you reckon about that?
That's one of the best descriptions of a game I've ever heard.
You normally get like you used to get like 2 sentences on the back of a game box.
Brilliant.
2D platforming fun.
Yeah.
I think that just sets the scene, doesn't it? If you read that, you're about to buy a video game, that it will draw you in.
Including the title of the dev team, Cinemaware.
Exactly. Now they really. When you play this game, it's almost like you're in a movie.
I'm going to shock you, Adrian.
Go on then.
I've played this game.
Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy this game.
Yeah.
And I played it without a hard disk.
Wow.
So I played it on Amiga with the 3 discs. And yeah, so I've also played it. Did I borrow it from you? I don't know.
You might. I did used to own it on the Amiga, and I probably lent it to you. I mean, it's brilliant.
You've lent me about 1 million Amiga games in the past, so I don't know. But yeah, so that was what we call a plot twist.
No, that is the plot twist. Now, actually, well, look, I think the intro is great as well. Now, we spoke a while back about Moonstone.
Intro is great.
Yeah, intro is great. Moonstone's got a great intro, one of the best in the Amiga. This is up there.
It's very Moonstone-esque, and so is the music, isn't it?
I love the music, and again, you start off, it's kind of dark red desert. The game starts with eerie music. It's brilliant, sweeping red desert scene, and then you see a meteorite hit the mountains in the distance, and then I'm not going to do this guy justice, but a booming voice. I'm talking a proper professional voice artist on the Amiga. You know, it's a bit clangy, but it's still brilliant.
I sound like this up here.
A bit like that. I try and do a bit of justice. This is what comes on the screen. The desert, unchanged for millions of years, yet witness to a biblical prophecy come true, that one day the meek should inherit the earth. It's so good. Right, let's get to the plot, okay? The game is set in 1951, okay? And you are basically inside this rural American town in California. I think it's a made-up town. If I'm wrong, I apologise.
I think it's made up.
Lizard Breath.
Lizard Breath. Yeah, they do have some odd
It could
names of.
yeah,
It could well be, you know. But there is the lizard in Cornwall, obviously, as well. So
There is.
Lizard Breath.
There is.
It could be.
And I like Lizard Breath. I mean, it's a bit old-fashioned, even in the 1950s. Everyone's a little bit, set in their ways. And you are a scientist called Greg Bradley. You're new to the town.
Dr.
I think, Doctor. I think you're a little bit new. Not everyone kind of trusts you. You want to settle down a little bit. But obviously, you see this meteorite hit the mountains. You want to find out what's going on. So you send the local prospector out to get some samples from the meteorite.
You geese.
Now, he's an old-fashioned guy with a beard and the big pickaxe, and that's how the game starts, really. He comes back on his donkey. You see the donkey walking by and says, Mr. Greg Bradley, I've got your samples. And he puts them out on the table. Normal rocks.
Good samples.
Good samples of meteorite, but one of them is glowing.
That's not normal.
That's not great.
That's not right.
Now, good old Greg Bradley, he's a sharp man. He assumes that maybe radioactivity is involved. So he asks, the first thing you've got to do, guys, is send that sort of glowing rock away to the laboratory to get investigated.
The thing is, right, so our geese, as I'm going to call it.
Good old Greg.
Geese.
Geese, yeah.
Not geese, not Greg, geese.
Okay.
The old guy.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Has been subjected to this radioactive rock. And also Greg has looked at it without a radioactive suit on.
That's right.
Any kind of protection. Shouldn't really, by the end of the game, they've both died of radiation poisoning.
Well, it's a bit of a spoiler alert. You do end up in hospital often, so maybe that's a little. That could be. And actually, well, I'll come to it later. Actually, now, you're new to the town. You know something crazy is going on. You know that you've got to solve this mystery. Okay, what is going on? What is going on with that meteorite site? It is, I think, one of the first games that really used the adventure gameplay really well, and it also introduced a lot of sort of mini games. And they weren't just there for fun; they were part of the plot. So different parts of the game, you did little bits, and I think it keeps you engrossed in the story as well. Now, what I like, and I put my hands up, guys. I've played this game many, many times. I don't think I ever completed it as a kid. No. I don't think so. I got close. To solving the mystery and finding and getting rid of the killer ants. Oh. The reason I don't think completed it is because it plays at real time, which I think is quite, for an early game, that's pretty interesting. So you are against the clock to find out what's going on. And you've got 15 days to complete the mission. And within those 15 days, you have to obviously find out what's going on, and you have to basically get the mayor on your side. You have to say, look, there's trouble in town. We need to sort
He's
it out.
such a dick. That mayor is such a dick.
They don't actually. The only way you can persuade the mayor to get involved and get the army set up and ready is to find 4 pieces of evidence. You must collect 4 pieces of evidence. If you were looking to prove that killer ants existed, and remember it's 1951 right now, you can't just take a picture really on a camera phone. What types of evidence do you think you would try and gain?
I'll let Keith answer this because obviously I know the answer.
You already know.
Yeah. Dillsy knows.
I can't take a picture.
Oh, no, it's not. That's not one of them.
A piece of giant ant.
He's onto something. He's onto something. I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that. That's definitely one actually. That you could almost argue too, but yeah.
What else though?
You can have a piece. You can have a solid piece of it.
Or
give you a little clue.
Liquid. And blood.
Ant fluids.
And fluids.
Ant fluids.
Yeah. When you smash an ant, you just get a load of fluids.
And fluids.
A load of plasma.
Ant juice.
That's
okay.
right.
Ant plasma.
So we've got ant tissue, a part of the part of the ant's antennae, a bit of the ant's fluids. Anything else?
Give me a clue.
Well, if they walk by, what do you reckon they leave?
And footprints.
Yeah, tracks.
And tracks.
And the last thing, If they move, they're going to make loud noises, so you're going to try and record the sounds.
Okay.
So you've got 15 days around the town, talking to many different people to pick up and gain the evidence. And what I like about it is once you've done once you talk to some people and you send off samples here and you do this in different parts of the town, the story evolves quite quickly. So if you know what you're doing, if you played the game a few times, you can obviously play it quite quickly. Now you might say, "Oh, Adrian, man, why haven't you completed it then?" Unfortunately, there's people and there's things in your way to stop you in the main mission. The mini games getting involved.
Love the mini games.
They're brilliant, and actually I think
They're like games within. They're like proper games within games.
and they're fun as well. There's a knife fighting game,
I saw this.
Oh, man.
I saw this.
and I think it's quite good.
It's brutal. It is brutal.
It is
And
brutal.
it's like that is in a 1989 Amiga game. That's
I know.
crazy.
And it's got like an overhead sort of bird's eye view. You've got to dodge the attacks. I don't quite understand why you're getting attacked. I
There's some
think
fool called Buzz, isn't it? It's like a greaser.
yeah,
No,
there is
It's
Greasy
like this
guy.
gang that really hates
Yeah.
Greg, and he basically like you can avoid them. They're in a certain like park. This is going back to
Yeah.
my memory now. In like some kind of parking lot, aren't they? So
That's right.
As long as you don't go there, then you don't have to stab him up.
That's true.
Otherwise, poor Dr. Greg. Dr. Greg's quite useful with a knife.
You know what?
Fair to him, he stands up to him. He
He's I
doesn't run
like.
away. He's like, well,
He doesn't like running away.
it's gone too far now. Got to stand up for myself.
That's right. I should have
So
said
you have
actually.
to murder this guy.
Yeah, was that? Yeah,
Basically.
Kids, if you're listening, by the way, we do not condone knife violence.
Nice.
Crime of any kind.
Dr. Greg, completely different circumstances. If someone comes up to you with a knife, you run and you call for help.
Yes, I agree.
Knives belong in the kitchen.
Yes. Anyway, carry on. Sorry, Adrian.
So yeah, the whole story you need to.
Sorry.
No,
Drop my laptop.
I thought it was a giant ant for a minute. Coming together. So yeah, when you're going around the town, it's an overhead sort of map view, and you click around.
Yeah.
Need to go here. Ooh, and you get little hints about where you need to go to next. And to go around town, you have to drive, don't you? You drive around town, and unfortunately, when you get to these certain places like there's farms and there's garages and there's different places around this sort of rural town, you can often, when you're talking to people, you can get interrupted by ants. They can actually appear, these giant
So
ants.
rude.
Now,
It scares the bejesus out of you.
because you're getting along the plot, you understand what's going on. All of a sudden, it's quite funny actually. You're talking to someone, and they go, "Oh," and they look behind you, and they just run away and zoom off the screen. And
Well, you see, it's like when like Roadrunner, kind of like meet, shoo. That's what they do. That's what they do. They were like, oh, what's gonna happen? It's like, oh no, the massive ant comes at you.
Why? Again, if I'm wrong by saying this, someone needs to correct me. But this was my first proper go at a first-person shooter. I think that's amazing.
1980.
Yeah, I suppose.
When the big ant comes on the screen, all right.
You are like it's like Doom.
It's like Doom.
You got to shoot him. You got to move the thing around with your joystick.
There is a strategy. If you got a giant ant walking towards you, in the distance, and you got a little pistol, where would you shoot?
I think I read this, so I kind of know. You have to shoot the antenna, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
Well, you could have faked a different answer and then come back with the.
I don't want to be the one who knows nothing about the game all the time.
You do, and actually early on, if you shoot the antenna off, they come later on as well. But that's how you get the ant's tissue. Do you understand? You pick it up, and that's one way of getting part of the evidence. It's brilliant. It's so fun, but it's quite difficult. You have to properly aim and stuff. It's pretty tough. And once you killed that ant, it does like an overhead view, and all these big ants.
Yeah.
You're very zoomed. You're very zoomed out. You're only a small little character now. You have to run away and chuck grenades at all the other ants. So I don't know why you can't quite chuck the grenades when you first see it in the screen, but. That's how it goes. And 2 little mini games there. Also, if a fire breaks out in a certain area, if you use a fire extinguisher, a very similar sort of situation. There's also a chicken game. A chicken game. So and I'm not talking about the animals here. We're talking about the greasers earlier, weren't we?
Okay.
That's what the local terrorists are called, the greasers. And they don't like the cut of your jib. So if they see you driving in the road,
They'll try and run you off.
they're playing chicken.
Damn.
Yeah, playing chicken, just like Back to the Future style. Now, if you know what you're doing, it's not too difficult minigame, so a little spoiler, you just have to keep dead straight and hold your nerve. Go straight at them, full speed, don't steer to the left or right, you need to cut, really be brave, and they'll zoom out. Now, it took a while for me to get that, and it took a while for me to get good at shooting ants, and it took a while for me to chuck grenades, so if you do get hurt in the game, where are you taken?
Hospital.
My second home.
And you got like a nice nurse, and she kind of says she's very nice, she's very lovely.
She's very nice.
And you're like, wouldn't mind taking her out for a date. But then, you got to get out of it.
In normal circumstances, that sounds lovely. But if you go to hospital, you have to spend 2 days to recover.
Ooh.
Now, how many days have you got?
15.
You only got 15 days, man!
Oh,
That's
my
a big
words.
chunk.
That's a big chunk. So, you can either stay in your bed, recover for 2 days, and but the time's ticking, or you can try to escape the hospital.
Escape the hospital.
I know.
It's brilliant.
Excellent.
And do you know what it reminds me of?
Go on.
That bit in Days of Thunder where he's racing the
Oh,
other
the
guy in the
wheelchairs.
wheelchair. Because
Yes.
there's a bit. So I know I'm sort of stealing.
No,
I'm stealing. I don't mean to steal your thunder.
Oh, here we go.
Hey.
There
I like that, carry on.
Yeah. But you just kind of lead everyone a merry dance, don't you, out of the hospital?
It's so fun.
And you can to get in the wheelchair
I know.
and just like zigzag around people.
And if they come, you can hide in beds.
Yeah,
It's-
up a bed.
Do you know what? All these mini games just could be literally a mini game, couldn't it? Do you understand? It's so fun.
So much work has gone into this game, and I
Exactly.
think, they should have sold a lot more copies of it.
I think so. Little touches add up. I have to say though, even though I like the hospital level, when you go there very often, it does get a little bit frustrating, and it's difficult. It's very hard to escape the hospital. If they find you, they get really angry at you, and I think you have to stay in a little bit longer as well. So I know. So sometimes you've got to stick it out in the old hospital. I mean, that's basically all the mini games, and I think it just adds another element to it. It entices you in. I mean, the first-person shooter, that was probably my favourite as a kid, because, shoot the giant ants. Now, the adventure side of the game is quite linear, okay, so it's relatively simple plot in a way. You need to do certain things, find the evidence, talk to this person, it kind of pushes you in the right direction. But obviously, those 15 days, they go down quickly. And in real life, can Greg keep working 15 days straight?
No.
Gets tired. So you actually have to go back to your house and have at least 8 hours sleep a day. This game,
You can have a lot more than 8 hours sleep if you want it.
if you wanted to.
And I love how because he's so knackered from running around the town all day, he just falls asleep like straight away.
Exactly. I mean, it's just those little touches make this game so memorable for me. It really caught my attention. Brilliant. Actually, if you manage to get the 4 bits of evidence, bit of a spoiler alert now. Get the 4 bits of evidence. You persuade the mayor to get the sort of local army involved. There's a really good sort of aeroplane level. Greg's great. He can shoot a gun. He can obviously drive cars.
He's a super doctor.
He's a super
Like
doctor.
you said, he can fly a plane. He can fly a plane and drop like some kind of not crop duster. It's crop duster stuff, isn't it? Essentially,
It is crop. Yeah.
he's crop dusting the ants, and it's just he's a genius.
I can see why some people are
Underappreciated.
a little bit not sure about him, a bit jealous maybe, aren't they, in the local
I think
town?
they're just jealous.
I think so too. Now, right at the end, so you do the plane, you manage to fly to the crash site, the meteor site, and you notice there's an enter into the nest.
What's that going to be? Oh yeah, I was going to say, what's that going to be? Yes, you just said it.
What's
It's
gonna
the
be?
nest.
It's just a nest. Now, this is great. You go into it. It's the same sort of very zoomed out view as when you attack the ants from overview, but it's like an ant maze. Yeah, as you can imagine. And you have to traverse and get your way through the mazes and kill other sort of normal ants. Who are you trying to track down? The Queen. The Queen Anne. Oh man, and I forgot to mention, you no longer have your pistol. I don't even think you got grenades anymore. I might be wrong there, but you have a new weapon.
What have you got?
Well, what would you like to attack the giant ant with, you think?
Hello. Again, I know this, but I can't say.
Hello.
Keith, come on.
Ant poison.
No. But I'll give you a clue. Old, what's his face in the petrol station? You save him. There's a guy who looks after the petrol station.
Flamethrower.
That's it.
He's got it. He's got it.
Because you rescue him, and he says he'll top up your
flamethrower. You got the flamethrower. You finally get loads of countless ants. You keep going further and further into this nest, and you finally you kill the eggs as well. There's little eggs you got to kill, and you finally come to the queen ant. You roast her. It's a bit sad, really. I mean, at the end of the day, these ants didn't ask to be turned into mutant giant ants.
I don't know, I've never felt sad when watching Aliens when Ripley kills the Queen and
I did
sets
feel
the eggs
sad
on,
about
when she sets the eggs on fire.
Yeah, like, oh,
Felt sad for the face huggers.
All the face huggers are dying.
It finishes. It concludes, And I'm not going to read the whole thing at the end, but there's a little story about, well done, you saved the town, but there's little hints that there might be another Queen Anne that's escaped. So it literally finishes.
It opened up for a sequel.
It did, and it literally says, the end. Or is it?
Oh, I love that.
See? B-movie. We like that.
Definitely.
But then poor old
B-movie
Greg's so
style.
knackered, I don't think he could have done another. I don't think he could have done a sequel.
Well, I think actually, there is a sequel, but Greg's not in it. He's not the main character, I believe.
What do you mean there's a sequel?
Well, you've not heard about this?
No.
Well, later on, I think, only a year later, because even though they said it wasn't ridiculously popular, it did pretty well. Did pretty well. So they made an expansion pack.
Oh,
An expansion pack, which is basically the sequel. It's a whole new game, and it was called Ant Heads. It came from the Desert 2.
Ant Heads.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I don't like the title, but carry on.
Fair enough. Originally in America, you had to mail order it. So you order. If you liked the first game, you'd buy it on mail order.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it
The
wasn't.
late 80s was all about the mail order.
We love the mail order.
Yeah.
Now it was an expansion pack, so you had to have the original game to play it. And I think in Europe you could just buy it off the shelf.
Alright.
But it was a whole game, same sort of length as the original, very similar style. But it's set 5 years after the first game. I've never played it, if I'm being honest. I had a quick look on YouTube, truthfully. I haven't actually played the sequel. I didn't even know it existed until very recently, truthfully. I'll put my hands up. But if you get a chance to play this, it is available on Steam. Both of these games are available on Steam.
Really?
There's
Are you
actually,
serious?
there's a Cinemaware pack that has all their classics, Wings, etc.
Oh my god! I've got to get it.
No, it's on my list now. It's so good. I think it will still be fun to play today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really do. I really do. And I'm looking forward to the Mega Drive as well. A few little facts. I'll chuck them out here. It's apparently, if you've played Red Alert, and I think I remember doing this actually, Command & Conquer Red Alert, there's a secret mission named It Came From Red Alert, and you're literally battling giant ants. So
That's
it's a
cool.
little homage to the game.
That's cool.
And if you bought the game originally, now I wish I had this still, but you were given a map, a poster-sized map of lizard breath.
Oh, that's pretty
excellent.
cool.
So forget Miami, that GTA maps. This is the one you want, isn't it?
That's
Lizard
the
breath.
original map. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the big news I think I'm excited about is there is a film being made.
Woo! What?
It came from the desert. They're making. It's in post production. It's very, very close to being released.
Oh
apparently.
my god!
And
is it a proper B movie?
It's going to be one of these
What was
films
the
you have to
budget?
hunt for, isn't it?
What was the budget?
the budget was low. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it's definitely a B movie esque, and it takes.
Straight to DVD.
If it is, I'm buying it. I don't care.
I'll end it. Look.
Look, give it a chance. Okay, give it a chance. It means a lot to me. It's definitely in my top 10 Amiga games. It's a shame it didn't do better on other consoles and so forth. Keep an eye out for the Mega Drive version.
What about those characters though? What about those characters?
What, in the game?
Yeah. What about Jackie? You know, you mentioned lovely Jackie. She's a rip-off of Marilyn Monroe, isn't she?
That's right. Yeah.
She's even got a mole, hasn't she?
She's got the mold and
Yeah.
everything. The only thing that she's lacking is blonde hair.
Well, exactly.
But then, wowzer.
I think the characters are quite likeable, and actually, we were talking about the Greasers earlier, and then, I think it was Buzz, the main
Buzz,
guy.
isn't it? Yeah.
You can actually befriend. You can actually make friends with the team. They don't annoy you off that. Actually,
Oh, that's good.
so there's little
Rather than
things.
just
Yeah,
stabbing them up. Okay.
exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, can you imagine? I want to finish off actually, guys. We've spoken about It Came From the Desert. It was a good influence. It took a good influence from the film Them, which I want to see actually. But is there any sort of B movies that you would love to see made into video games?
That's a good question.
That's a good question, isn't it?
I don't know. I think a lot of them were done, weren't they?
Some of them have been done and not very well. Like they're talking about Evil Dead. There was a PS1 game called Fistful of Boomstick, and it was like a third-person beat 'em up type of thing.
I
And it
know
was
that.
rubbish.
I don't know.
So something like that done properly. What else?
I often think, and I've mentioned it quite a few times already, but They Live. Could you imagine playing a game where you put the glasses on and you can see the alien?
Well, there is a game that's stolen bits of They Live, obviously.
Obviously.
Quite a mainstream game that we've talked about.
That is true, actually. That's a good point. So that's fair enough.
What else?
Yeah.
That's flashback, by the way. Sorry, I didn't actually. For anyone who's
need to drop a bigger.
How about like the thing?
Flashback.
The thing could be quite good.
Again, I think there's a.
The thing is, it came on PS2, didn't it?
Yeah, I've not played it though.
I think I've heard it's good. I've not played it though.
Oh, there you
I've
go.
heard it's good. Yeah, the thing.
And then 70 stuff. I mean,
there isn't a lot of ones that haven't been because there's such, you know. A lot of the work has been done for you. A lot of these B movies do have great plots, and they've already been turned. You know, for like a game developer, that's like, ooh, that's gold. It's just like, ooh, that's the plot's already there. I just have to come up with some decent action.
I can't think of any really good ones though that I've played off the top of my head.
Well, I know it's not an official movie, but I think it came from the desert. I know, obviously, that's unusual, isn't it? It's the movies coming out after the games.
Movie of the game.
What if that's a first?
Like a movie.
Yeah.
What?
A B-movie-esque game that's being turned into a movie.
Yeah, because it's always like mainstream games that get turned into movies.
Yeah.
Not like a B-movie game that then gets turned into a B-movie.
Yeah.
That could be a first. Well done. Well done. They came from the desert. It came from the desert. Sorry.
That's right. So anyway, if you get a chance, play it. I think it's worth having a go. It could be right up your street.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. We really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to get in touch regarding this week's episode or anything else, you can tweet us at Arcade Attack UK, at Keith Barlow 82 and at arcade_Adriano. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/Arcade Attack UK. Please check out our website at arcadeattack.co.uk for lots of retro gaming goodness, interviews, reviews, features, top 10s, etc. And you can also find all our previous podcasts there. Our podcasts are available to stream from the website and from SoundCloud, and are available to download for free from Stitcher, Podbean and iTunes, where you can also leave us a review and a rating, which we would really, really appreciate. So, until next time, take care, and we'll speak to you soon.